Welcome to the Central America's smallest country is also one of its most mysterious and enigmatic, like just the mystic cloud forest, smoky volcanoes, and a black sand salt beaches that it has become known for. If you're looking for the slow-paced things to do in El Salvador, dig into the country's colorful cultural heritage by exploring its historical cities, moral-covered towns, and ash-preserved Mayan ruins. Don't leave without trying the coffee, which is some of the best in the world. I'm Ken from Travel the World with Thorkenn. If you are new from my channel, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and click the notification bell so that you will be notified if I uploaded my travel experience video. Enjoy watching. Ken from Travel the World with Thorkenn. El Salvador, officially the Republic of El Salvador, is a country in Central America. It is bordered on the northeast by Honduras and on the northwest by Guatemala, and on the south by the Pacific Ocean. El Salvador's capital and the largest city is San Salvador, the smallest country in Central America, and just over 8,000 square miles or 21,000 square kilometers. El Salvador is about the size of the state of Massachusetts, and it is also the only country in Central America without a Caribbean coastline. Museo Carlos de Zola, the Archaeological Park of San Andres, is located 32 kilometers from San Salvador on the highway that leads to Santa Ana. It is located in the Zaputitan Valley between the banks of the Socio River and the Agua Caliente River. It has the small museum built in the honor of Carlos de Zola, executive of the General Directorate of Cultural and Youth and Sports. He always insisted that there should be a museum in each of the archaeological sites, even if they were small, but where the populations would appreciate, value, and make their own the pre-Hispanic legacy inherited from their ancestors. For the reasons of its archaeological sites that are under the administrations of Cultural have a small museum available to visitors. There are three research periods reveal different moments of pre-Hispanic occupation. The first occurred during the Middle Pre-Classic period, 700 BC to 250 BC. The second during the Late Classic, AD 600 to AD 900 to 100. And the third during the Post-Classic. However, of these three periods of Mayan occupation, the most important occurred during the Late Classic due to the social complexity and the cultural advancement achieved at the time. On the site in the Indigo Mill from the colonial era that was buried by the eruptions of the Playon volcano in 1658 AD. San Andres is one of the largest pre-Hispanic center in El Salvador. The first news about San Andres as an archaeological site dates back to the end of the 19th century, since it was in 1892 when the existence of this settlement was reported for the first time. Years later, in 1910, when a group of American cartographers were taking measurements at the Hacienda de San Andres, the presence of mounds in the surrounding was mentioned again. There are volcanoes on the El Salvador flag. With so many volcanoes in the country, it is no wonder volcanoes are presented on the El Salvador flags. The two blue stripes of the flag represent the Atlantic and the Pacific Oceans which bordered Central America. The white stripe symbolizes peace. The coat of arms in the center of the flag, it features 5 volcanoes represent the 5 states of the United Provinces of Central America. The motto of El Salvador sits below in the triangle, the Rayas Dios Union Libertad, or God Union Liberty. The current building was inaugurated in July 1997. It presents a permanent collection of archaeological, the classic period, and the colonial character divided into 3 rooms. The first dedicated to the geographical context of the era, the second investigations of the site and its cultural contextualization, and the third to the colonial era. Collection types, archaeological and the historical, guided tour services, cafeteria service, picnic area, craft store, parking, amphitheater, projection room, tours, and the site along the trails are offered. San Andres is the archaeological site located in the Zapotitan Valley, just 5 kilometers from Julian de Sirin. In the department of La Libertad, the San Andres Archaeological Park is one of the largest pre-Hispanic centers in El Salvador and would have constituted a regional capital between 600 to 900 AD. In the latest classic period of the period apogee of the Mayan civilization. The first investigation were carried out during the 2 seasons in the year 1940 and 1941. Archaeological work in San Andres was interrupted for 4 decades and did not restart until the late 1970s under the directions of the archaeologist Stanley Bogues. In summary, the investigation carried out in San Andres during the years 1940 to 1941, 1977 to 1978, and 1996 to 1997 have revealed important findings and provided valuable data that allow us to know not only the internal characteristic but also the contacts that San Andres maintained with the other pre-Spanish settlements of El Salvador and the Mayan area. The UNESCO World Heritage listed Joya de Sirin Archaeological Site is the pre-Columbian Mayan farming village that dates to AD 600, smothered by ash during the volcanic eruptions of Laguna Caldera. The buried village was preserved in the near-perfect conditions, earning the nickname Pompeii of the Americas. Joya de Sirin is the archaeological site in the La Libertad Department, El Salvador, featuring the pre-Columbian Mayan farming village. The ancient Maya site of Joya de Sirin is located in the Zapotitan Valley, 36 km northwest of San Salvador and El Salvador. The Temascal, a place for a purification. Its ceiling formed by an extraordinary water and the Daog Dome represent the masterful work of the pre-Hispanic architecture. Functionally, it was a space link used to the purifications of the body and spirit. Inside, there is the flagstone floor with a box of the stones in the center, which were heated and preparations for the herbs was poured to generate steam. Two of the structures identified as the sleeping area left side and the storage area on the right side were part of the house whose inhabitants cultivated their cornfields on the south side and were probably responsible for providing water and firewood for the use of the local area. During the investigation, in the sleeping area, 3 vessels were located which its inhabitants used to serve food. One of them still preserves in the imprints of the fingerprints where they took at the ate their food were their fingers. The richness of its soil, water sources, and the bountiful climate favor the development of intensive agriculture, one of the sustenance pillars for the inhabitants of the settlement. Extensive areas of manioc, corn, and a great variety of food plants are samples of the Mayan diet rich in vegetables. The Mayan were very good managing the use of species such as agave and the other fibers such as tule, which were used for marking courts and roofs, mats and baskets. They also used medicinal plants. Among the richness of the flora, ornamental plants have also been identified. Most of the archaeological sites in Mesoamerica are evidence of the elites and the rulers' lives, with their great ceremonials centers where testimonies of the rich offering of the jade and the imported ceramics have been found. Thanks to its excellent state of preservation, Joya de Sirin is the only archaeological site in Mesoamerica which shows us the evidence of the daily practices of our peasant communities from the pre-Hispanic times to date. Through ceramic architectures of land, the crops that knowledge and use for the medicinal plants that tells us about this continuous way of life. Yuya de Zerin represent a pre-Hispanic settlement with an exceptional and a unique character, gives a degree of preservation of the pre-Hispanic structures which have allowed their interpretations based on the multidisciplinary scientific studies on everyday life, such as the Eastern architecture, the use of artifacts, environment, and the context of the community of Mayan artisan and the farmers from the classical period. We invite them to walk through the interpretative trails and exceptional and the unique site of the Mayan culture, preserved by 14 layers of volcanic ash which deserve international recognition when it was engraved on the UNESCO World Heritage listed in 1992. El Salvador is known as the land of volcanoes because it has more than 100 volcanoes. Around 20 volcanoes are potentially active, standing at 2,381 meters above sea level. Santa Ana is the highest volcano in El Salvador. Locals call Volcan Santa Ana. I'm Ken from Travel the World with Thorkenn. Thank you for your love and support to my channel. Feel free to leave your comments about what did you saw or any feedbacks that will help my channels to improve in the future. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and click the notification bell so that you will be notified if I uploaded my travel experience video. Stay safe and take care.